Hello from Amsterdam. This is Dr. Eloise joining you from Digital Procurement World live. One half of the Amazon Procurement Women duo of the Dual Sourced podcast. Sarah is my co-host, is out in Palm Springs in California attending another conference. So we're going to change up the format this week. And I am going to interview someone here and she's going to interview someone there. And we're going to put them together and we're going to react to both interviews. So I have no idea who she's interviewing or what she comes back with, and same vice versa. So with that in mind, I am very excited to introduce you to my guest. My guest is Vanya. She is the Director of Procurement or Director of Digital Procurement for Coca-Cola Euro-Pacific Partners. She is a dear friend and a professional colleague and somebody that I just respect greatly so much, and I'm so excited and thankful to have her here today. With that, Vanya, welcome. Thank you for being here with me.
My pleasure.
This is our third DPW in a row, and I am very much on record of just telling absolutely anybody who will listen that I love DPW. And so my question to you is, am I alone, or do you like or love DPW, or what do you think about it? And I don't want to influence you one way or another, but how do you think about DPW?
I'm getting flashbacks of the session we had yesterday and how DPW opened, and I believe, so I'm definitely a believer. And I think it's become one of the milestones that happens every year. And I think back, and it's been 3 face-to-face ones now, and the first one was obviously virtual, but it's fantastic to see what Matthias and the team have done and the way that it's grown, and it just keeps getting better year on year. So I'm in the same camp, and I tell people, if you like procurement, if you like tech, if you want to see what's happening, even other functions, be here. This is the place to be. It's a fantastic event.
Well said. What's your most favorite or aspect of DPW?
I enjoy the variety. I think what makes it different to other types of events that I go to is the combination of technology partners and providers who are at different stages in their own journeys. So you get very well-established players, but there's plenty of space for up-and-comers. So I think having the ability for them to join, them having that access and having the option for them to be involved is really important. And the whole scheme from the beginning has helped through the demo sessions, through the competitions, really making it easier for entrants to join the fun. And it's not just the well-established companies who can afford and be able to join events like this. So it's a good combination of SIs, of technology providers, of startups at different levels of maturity, of customers. So it's that variety that I think keeps it really interesting.
Yeah, and oftentimes those big providers can consume 80-90% of the oxygen of any conference, and so it snuffs out all the innovation and the younger startups. I'll tell you, my favorite is just the ambiance and the connectivity of when you walk in here. We're not in a conference, it feels like a nightclub.
That's a good point, because I think those were all very serious answers that I just gave, but it's just fun. It's fun.
Yeah.
And I think
Yes.
people come with that kind of attitude. We're here to learn, we're here to network, we're here to connect, but at the same time, we're here to have fun and hang out.
Yeah, and the networking and fun kind of, for me, go hand in hand.
Goes hand in hand.
I have done nothing. I mean, most of my experience this year has just been talking to people one-on-one, either in and around the conference, and it's amazing. Like, I'm so happy. Like, I have not had this, like, physiologically, I have not had this much human contact since pretty much last year.
I look forward to it.
I do
every
too.
year.
I totally
Same.
look forward to it. All right, so we are in conference season. There's 2 seasons each year. There's the spring season of conferences and the fall season of conferences. And you can answer this for DPW or in general. What are your tips/hacks for conferences? How do you approach conferences? Sarah and I talk about this a lot, of trying to strategize as either from her perspective as a sponsor or me as a speaker, but you're an attendee and you're a speaker too. But what are your hacks? How's your approach to this?
I think a more work-related idea that is really just to do your prep work and to do a little bit of thinking about what is it that you want to get out of each conference. And maybe there's a different angle to each one, but talking to your own network, figuring, we're all here. I mean, I'm talking from a customer perspective. I'm here as a corporate, and just having a refresh of your own priorities, and then figuring out what is it that would be the best use of your time here, and what do you need to prioritize? Is it certain capabilities? Refreshing in your own mind, your own list of what should I do first, and then doing background checks and reading, and who's at what stage, what's news with companies, who's going to be there. Just optimizing, overused word, but optimizing your own time here and making sure that you get to the topics, to the providers, to the connections, the people who you want to talk to and you want to connect with. From that regard, doing your preparations on the actual conference, but in the other aspect, book travel early. Make sure you're staying close to the venue, which is my
amen.
Staying really close to the venue, figuring out your location. So now I prepare absolutely everything. It's in my OneNote, and I have not in the last minute checking what address you're meeting and what room you're in and what time is which session. There's a lot going on. It can feel very overwhelming at every conference. So having a plan, essentially, and I'm a planner, and I like falling back on the plan, and in between being as spontaneous as I can be, but knowing that I can fall back on a plan and that I know what my top 3 priorities are. Apart from that, I can just wing it.
That's awesome. I love that. I am not a planner, and I haven't been able to go anywhere at DPW this year without asking the information booth, where am I going?
Where am I going? What room is it in?
Yeah, like I'm like on a first name basis with them, because I if it's in my calendar, I'll follow the calendar. But if then I have to go to the app, then I'm in big trouble.
Yeah, the app does help.
I love the app.
But at the same time, everybody should download the app. Download the app.
But I'm in trouble because I'm trying to juggle my calendar and figure out in the app, and like, where am I going? Where should I be?
And we're trying to juggle calls and our everyday jobs.
Like work.
Can't completely block out everything for these 2 days, but you can do your best.
And as a speaker, because you spoke yesterday, I believe, and how do you take that in and think about just, is there any extra prep you do for that?
Oh, for sure. And I think, that's a privilege, and amazing to be invited to be a speaker at an event like this. And I like that sharing element, because I know how much I enjoy hearing about what other people do. And there's always something that even though we live and breathe this every day and we think some of this stuff is obvious, hearing from others, I think, is really important. And we're all at different steps of our own journeys. So I just felt it was like an opportunity to give back a little bit of what we've been through, and maybe some of it sticks or is useful for other people to hear. So I enjoyed that experience, and you get to know I was on a panel, so you get to know your other colleagues who are on there with you, and the people who are facilitating. So it's a part of the whole experience, and I think it's great to be on that side as well.
Yeah, I love that, especially the panels, because you can really develop long-term connections from what you share on the panels.
Yeah.
All right. Because I know you, and we spent a lot of time over the years talking, I know you like to travel.
Yes.
And so Sarah and I have we've done a whole episode, and probably even almost a second episode on travel, like how we approach travel and thinking about travel. And I know you are like expert level black belt traveler, world traveler. Talk about your, let's say, tips and tricks again, but also just how you approach travel more broadly.
I do think there's a specific female travel experience.
Yes.
And I think there's a lot of preparation that needs to go into place. We need a lot. I feel like we need to travel with more than my male colleagues need to even think through of how many products you need to prepare for a trip. But yeah.
By the way, can I just say as a sidebar?
Yeah.
And I went through Heathrow once, and not realizing that the liquids, because at Heathrow, they are very strict about liquids. And I've got like a whole bag, a quart-sized bag of cosmetics.
Yeah, travel-sized cosmetics.
Travel-sized cosmetics, but they wouldn't, then a whole other one of like deodorant and shampoo and all the hairspray, and they wouldn't let me with both on. And so I had to throw some things away. And my the bag full of makeup, those products, each one was anywhere from $50 to $100. Yeah. And I'm like, well, like, that's not fair.
I've been in situations where I have to throw some stuff out, and it's going through my head of what's the most expensive item.
Exactly.
I have to prioritize and figure out which one I can let go of.
Right, that's not fair.
And some of it is hard to get, which I can only get in the US, So
exactly. So A, it's not fair, but B, it's like it takes a lot more like you have to think that through.
Hard to keep a track of the policies at
Yeah.
different airports. I do love to travel,
Yeah.
and we do travel a lot for our, personal reasons, but also for work. And you get better at it. But Heathrow even has five terminals now. One of them has no restrictions. You don't have to take your laptop out. They're introducing no like liquid. You can just pass them through, but it's very choppy and it's hard to keep a track of these. So you're going to end up being surprised. So I think just think through, if you had to get rid of something, what would it be anyway? Because I've been in situations where I've been asked to empty everything out and squeeze it into one bag, and that process is not fun.
Yeah, no, it's not fun. And yeah, if you open my suitcase, like it expands like a Jack in the Box.
Good suitcase, travel size. Because I like the little travel size items, but they are so pricey. And then now I've started decanting into separate ones, which I take
That's a great hack, by the way. Just decanting from
your favorite shampoo. Take it with you. Don't use the hotel one. And the standard things, like make sure you have a charger for your phone. Like have a bank that's full and ready to go. You never know where you're going to get delays or be stranded. So my phone always is full charge, but I also have a power bank that's very slim and can fit into my bags afterwards. So a charger is very important. But yeah, I actually think travel is very, very nourishing. And I think it's very important in the world that we live in to keep that curiosity going and to understand each other a little bit better. It's a beautiful, interconnected world. There's nice elements of that, and there's some more challenging elements to that. But I think with us being so interconnected and multinational corporations, multinational teams, multicultural, multi in various elements of life, I think traveling forces us to learn about each other in some ways. Even when you're there, some kind of osmosis happens and you walk away a little bit more informed, a little bit more aware. So it's an incredibly rewarding experience. And I think we're lucky that we get to do it through work. But also, I think it's important to have that curiosity and do it in your own personal time as well, in a sustainable way.
Yes. I'm glad you added sustainable way at the end. I agree. And I actually think one of the problems, without trying to make this political, one of the problems we have in the US is we've become very myopic in our worldview. And you break that myopia by actually getting out and talking to people in other countries, other regions. One of the things in the UK, every time I get into a cab and they figure out that I'm from the States, we talk about politics, whether it's the UK politics or the American politics. And it's just interesting because I hear things I would have never thought, or I would have never even thought to ask, much less hear. So I think I agree. It's this cross-pollination of ideas. And I think certainly in the States have become less, or maybe it's even post-COVID, there's less of that. And so I think it creates much larger walls between cultures and geographies.
And it's so much easier today. I was thinking about this the other day. It was only until the 60s and 70s where commercial air travel became affordable and possible. So it hasn't been that many generations in our lifetime that have had this opportunity to very easily just go somewhere different and immerse yourself in a different culture, in a different country. You're going to learn something new.
Exactly. If nothing more, how to take a train in a different language.
Exactly.
Navigate. I went to Berlin one time. I could not figure out the train system, but I somehow got on and I got somewhere. It
breaks down barriers.
Yeah.
And you're going to learn something.
Exactly. It does. And it's really important, I think, just to sort of train your brain to something new. And there's when I walk off a plane and everything's in a different language, even though there might be English, it's just I have to reset my brain.
Yeah. Speaking about DPW and why we love it so much, one of the key reasons is that it forces you to stay future oriented. And I loved your keynote presentation where you were talking about the future skills that people need in procurement. And one of the key ones was curiosity.
Yes.
And a desire to learn and be open-minded. So I think it all is a part of the same thing. And it's a skill that we all need to keep developing, to be curious and to learn.
Yes.
And traveling is just a part of it. It's an opportunity.
It's probably one of the greatest drivers of curiosity, where you go out and see and just interact with people. I'm not even sure I can, after 3 years, pronounce the name of the venue, Beurs van Berlage.
I probably can't either.
Yeah, but But like I remember last year, the doorman, I stood out there for like 5 minutes trying to have him educate me on how to pronounce it.
And it's a humbling experience.
It's so totally humbling.
I've lived in, I grew up in Australia, I was raised there, and then I moved to London for 12 years, and now I live in Spain. And when I am in Spain, it's an incredibly humbling experience. I turn into a 5-year-old trying to communicate.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's incredible. I think it's an interesting position to be in. So now I'm kind of semi-fluent in 3 languages, but I'm losing words in each one, and I know a word in this one that suits this language, and it's becoming a mess.
Well, also as you age, and I say this as an older person, that then you like just your brain gets more muddled, and like,
Anyway.
you can't come up with. And I, of course, like everybody that gets ages, I walk into rooms and I can't remember why I'm there, and what was I doing? But yeah, and I choose to believe this. I have no idea if this is true, but I choose to believe by immersing yourself in a totally different culture and just having to figure out helps build dendrites in the brain to like
Exercise the brain.
yeah, exercise it and like I walked up to immigration. I'm also bad interpersonally, like 'cause I'm an introvert, and you know if I'm meeting somebody new, it's like really hard for me. And I walked up to the immigration, and the officer says, where are you going? What are you doing? And I just was like
Staring.
like, I'm
That's a really good question. Where am I going?
Exactly. And it wasn't because I had forgotten. It was because like, well, I'm going to a thing and in downtown, and and then she let me through, and but then I was like, oh no, I'm going to Central Amsterdam, which is the proper way to describe this, to attend a conference. I don't even have to, say the venue, but and I'm staying at this hotel, and I could have been so more articulate, but in the moment, I'm like, I got nothing.
Got nothing for you.
Downtown.
Yeah.
I think she took pity on me.
That's another really interesting thing, because these conferences can be so exciting and so stimulating and so informative, is maybe taking time afterwards, a day or two, to just reflect and think about everything that's happened.
So that's a great prompt. So how do you come down off of these conferences?
It's great, the timing, the fact that it's midweek.
Yeah.
So I think it does give you the weekend to process everything and to, look at your notes, think about what you need to do next. I have a very long list of things that you get a lot of inspiration of things that you want to do, conversations you want to have a follow-ups on. So it's handy that you have the weekend. And if you don't, just try and take a day off, or clear your afternoons and just think about it.
And going back to your point about travel becoming more accessible to everybody, in just a matter of 10 hours or even less, depending on where you're at, you can be in a vastly different country, culture, language, and it can be very disorienting. So not only are you coming to another...
I spoke to at least 4 people in Spanish today, because I don't think I've caught up to the fact that I'm now in Holland, and I'm just defaulting to, hold on, they speak another language. It has to be Spanish for me. So
yeah.
I've spoken to a few people, and they just looked at me, excuse me, what? I'm like, wrong country, wrong language. I just haven't placed it yet.
But that's the power of travel, that we can now just leapfrog to wherever, and now we're in Amsterdam, now we're in Germany, and it's great. But also, it can make it hard. Well, the reverse of that is, and then this has happened to me the last 2 years, I leave DPW, and I go straight home, and now I'm back home with no transition. I'm back home, back in my old life, and that whole conference thing, the interactions, the dinners, just is like a faded memory. So there is the one thing I do is journal, but there is that disconnect of, if you don't take the time.
That's a good tip, actually, to journal after events like this, to just sit down and force yourself to write it out, because that forces you to slow down.
Yes.
And to think through what were the key things that left an impression. That's a really good tip. I'm going to do that this time.
Good. But your point about reflection, I'm going to do that this time. That's good too. Now, unfortunately, I have a 10, 11-hour flight back, so I have lots of time even if I want to watch 3 movies, I still have time.
That is a very special time. I love long-haul flights because of that reason. It just, you're blocked off from the world, and you can take the time for yourself.
So because you're also not at the mercy of phones.
Yes.
And I will, on long haul flights, I will not do Wi-Fi if I can avoid it, because I don't want people pinging me. I want to just watch my movies or sleep or
Yeah.
eat or, I don't know, whatever
Yeah.
it is that I do on the plane.
On the flights to Australia, when I go back home, there's plenty of time for that.
Where, from Madrid or UK?
Connecting somewhere in the Middle East or
Okay.
Asia, so it's a good 25, 26 hours.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's,
Lots of movies.
yeah. Wow. That's
Yeah.
brutal.
But it's worth it when you get there.
Yes.
Worth it.
I definitely, it's on my list to go. So, all right. So we talked about conferences, we talked about travel, we talked about DPW. Let's talk about your career. And I started this by saying that you're a rock star and that you are well respected, you have great experience, and the leaders in your organization recognize you. How do you, what career advice would you give? I'll say it this way, hopefully not offensively, but you're mid-career. Like some point in your mid-career, whereas me, I'm towards the end of my career. But your mid-career, how would you give tips to other people, especially other women? Just how is this mid part of your career shaping up versus when you were young? And
It links into that curiosity. So you need, I guess, to the extent that I am self-aware, I know that I'm a very, very curious person, and I think I used to have this attitude around trying as many different fields and topics and things out before figuring out what it is that I really wanted to do. So I think you can have two different approaches. You can some people are very clear very early on in life. They're passionate about something, and it might be architecture or medicine or whatever it is. And if that's not you, the thing that I found really useful is to have at least some kind of experience, short term, long term, in a field, to figure out whether this is something that you enjoy, that you're passionate about, that you're good at. The correlation between those things is very, very close. So you can practice and get good at things, obviously. Talent is just a small portion of the whole equation. Persistence is a massive one. But figuring out what you enjoy doing makes things a lot easier. So I was always curious, and I tried many different things. I've now been in procurement for 15 years. I used to say that I fell into it by accident, but reflecting back,
many of us did.
Various choices in your life lead you towards things that you enjoy a little bit more than others. And for me, the consistencies were technology and procurement buying, because I think there's a big element of collaboration, creativity. I think procurement is an interesting profession to have. So that curiosity has somehow led me to procurement, but I've tried lots of different roles: solution architecture. I mean, I did testing when I just started, functional design, business analysis, project management, in lots of different industries. I think the only one I've never really done is healthcare before I came to CCEP. And that curiosity led me into the area where I can say that I enjoy what I do, which
Right.
I think is, I'm very fortunate when it comes to that. I like the people that I work with. I think I have a lot to learn from them, and they inspire me, and I respect them. And the Coca-Cola family and the system is incredibly thrilling and exciting to work in. So I'm fortunate in that regard, because there's a lot of opportunity for me to learn, and that's important. But that curiosity just was a constant thing for me. Before I came to, FMCG, I tried lots of different things, and I've obviously moved quite a few times. So that is another thing, is figuring out what you are good at, figuring out what you enjoy, and then the rest of it falls into place eventually with lots of hard work.
That really resonates, and that curiosity and enjoyment. I mean, I can say for me, my career has taken a lot of twists and turns, and I ended up in procurement.
I think it was an accident.
Yeah, totally. Accident. It was totally accidental. And I'm so glad and so happy that I ended up here, because I just love it. But I have always, my philosophies, I want to have fun. I want to enjoy the people I'm working with, or the work, or ideally both, but sometimes it's one or the other, but that's okay.
Yeah. Sometimes you make a decision.
Yeah, exactly. So as long as I'm having fun or enjoying what I'm doing, then it's worth it. And what I love about procurement is there's tons of opportunity for both. In a future episode, Sarah and I are going to talk about that sink or swim moment. Have you had a sink or swim moment? And I know I'm thrusting this question upon you randomly, but...
Oh, I had a moment where I took 3 months unpaid, and I wanted to go work for a charity. And I think that was a turning point where I could have maybe changed, or I thought that I wanted to change, but I came back to business. But I think you can get to a phase where you might burn out. That curiosity, and I think you need to have boundaries for your own ambitions and your own. I had this massive thirst for learning, and I wanted to do a lot. And at some stage, I felt like I was getting close to burnout, and I was questioning of what is it that I wanted to do, which career path did I want to take. And I had a moment in 2012, I think it was. But I ended up figuring it out, and I really enjoyed what I was doing. And you get to see under the hood of various other professions and industries, and some things a little bit, they're demystified, and you realize that you do like the pace and you do like the opportunities. And I wanted to get back into business in the corporate world and not work for an NGO, which I like working with, but I realized that was not the career path for me, and that you could do similar things, but in different capacities. So it was a kind of a turning point for my career, and figured it out.
That's a great moment. Thank you for sharing that. Now, is there a leadership principle or set of principles that, because you're now in a leadership role, and congratulations, by the way, that you adhere to, that you aspire to? How do you think about being a leader?
I think the word integrity represents a lot. It's so loaded.
Yeah,
I'm just everything.
Juicy word.
It's a very juicy word. But it's a principle in life that I'm trying to always orientate myself towards. There are lots of people that I admire who have it, and I can see them practice it in their decisions, whatever it is, personal or professional, and always trying to reflect on whatever it is that you decide that you do. Did you have integrity when you did it? Is it authentic? Is it what you believe in? And what reasons are behind what you're doing? So I think integrity, doing the right thing, even when sometimes it's tricky to make a decision of what is the best thing to do in this situation, doing the right thing regardless of the circumstances, is a good orientation. But I have very good models, role models in around me, my personal and professional life, of people who do the right thing no matter what.
That's nice.
Including you.
Oh, thank you. I try to. The one thing I learned is that on integrity is I just try to live authentically and be out there, and no false pretenses in the profession I'm in that you used to be in. You can see there's often a lot of pretense, a lot of bluster, and I just try to cut through all that and say, look, here is everything I know. Here's how I got there. I want you to have it. If it's good, take it and run with it, make it better. But I'm not hiding. Like, I don't want to be in this position of hiding. And I think that's part of integrity, but also authenticity. Like, you know what you get with me. Like, I'm not going to hide.
I value and respect that a great deal. It's great to call you
thank you.
A type of mentor and a friend.
Oh, thank you. Wow. That's.
I'm trying to figure out whether I'd say personal and professional, but you're both, so all types.
Thank you. I feel very much the same way about you. And as an older person, I very much feel we can learn from younger people. And I have learned watching you grow and in your career, and it helps me to recalibrate my career as well, because you see and experience the world differently than from a business point of view than I did. And so I very much see you the same way. All right. Well, we're coming to the end, and first off, I want to thank you for being on the Dual Source podcast. You're our only second guest. Is there a second guest? And
many more to come.
Yeah, many more to come. But it's so fun, like doing this podcast. I never thought it would be so much fun. And I have to give you credit because you were encouraging me to do a podcast, and I was waiting for the right opportunity. And everybody knows, I say this to anybody, but I love doing this podcast with Sarah. But I want to also thank you for encouraging me to do this, and this part of this learning of like listening to what you're saying, because you see it the world a different way. But I also had promised you you would be my first guest on the podcast. Now, while you weren't the first guest.
Listen, second is good. Second is good.
But I am like so thrilled that I was able to. What am I saying?
Make it work. We're in Amsterdam.
Yeah, exactly.
You're far away from home.
Yeah, we're in Amsterdam. I get to interview you here live at DPW.
Yeah.
I'm feeling great. I'm jazzed on this day. Like, the second day of the conference has been great for me. And so to do this has been really, really special.
I'm really glad we can make it work. And it's been an honor.
Thank you. So I'll just give you the last word. Any comment on any of the topics we talked about you want to add to the record or say to the world, anybody listening?
No, stay curious and come to DPW.
Exactly. Like, we are big fans, big champions of DPW. Thank you.
Thank you.
And so that concludes this episode of Dual Source Discourse. Sarah and I will be commenting on it along with the one that she creates. But on behalf of Vanya, I will say goodbye from Amsterdam. Thank you for hosting us, Mateus and the DPW team. This has been so much fun. Thank you.